Hi, my name is Jamie Moreno, and I will be discussing our journal report number one. Um, the first topic that we're discussing is the explaining of dark figure of crime in your own words, and what possible solutions I would have to address that. Um, so, when you refer to the dark figure of crime, you're literally referring to that monster lurking in the shadows, the one that you know is there but can't see. Basically, dark figure of crime refers to crimes that go unreported. Um, an example of that would be sexual assault or rape. Sometimes I've never come firsthand into a situation like that, but I've seen some movies, and the first thing you always see is someone feeling embarrassed or ashamed about what happened, which sometimes causes them to not want to report what happened to them, skewing, of course, the crime rate figures because not everything that's out there is all of what's out there or pretty close to it. The Another example could be maybe a minor theft. Someone broke into your car and whatever was stolen you didn't feel was necessary to report. And that goes unreported as well. Nonetheless, it was theft. It was a crime that was committed in a certain neighborhood or area. But those numbers aren't in part of the total rates that are submitted to the crime surveys that are out there. One way to solve that issue, or hopefully, shed more light on the actual numbers, would be maybe perhaps getting surveys out there, confidential surveys out there to employers and schools and universities. If needed, offer some type of compensation of some sort, or something, maybe offer employers the opportunity to give compensation for that type of information or something to that effect. And then we could be a lot closer in being prepared for those types of crimes. If we had the true rates, then we would know how much more resources need to be spent on advocating for those particular situations. The next topic that we're referring to is the deviant behavior. Um, have I ever found myself in a situation where I may have expressed some type of deviant behavior, or appeared to be expressing some type of deviant behavior? Um, I look back and I can certainly think of a time where my appearance may have come off that way. And I think of my job. I am the type of individual who needs to know. I need to have all the information available at my fingertips. I need to understand the big picture. I need to see it in whole, to be able to do my job well and effectively. And without that information, it kind of just makes me feel a little lost and uneasy. It's just how my brain works. And so I tend to ask a lot of questions, and sometimes that may seem like I'm being insubordinate, and not following instruction. But I'll always do what I'm being asked. I just have to understand why I'm doing it in order to be able to do it efficiently and effectively. Um, I have seen the same type of behavior in some of my employees. Every now and then, I get a little mini me who comes in asking all the right questions and wants to know this and that and why and what's going on. So it wasn't until I saw it firsthand that I realized how that behavior might come across. But then I came to realize, you know what, you need the explanation the same way I would. So I'm able to help those people, and just because you have a certain mindset or a certain way of doing things, or a certain belief or something that you feel strongly about, does not mean that we would label someone as such. Um, the last thing that we're asked to discuss is is it necessary to criminalize nonviolent deviant behavior? Yes and no. I do feel like some behavior is um, taken to an extreme. An example: if you are let's say you're in your college days. You're on campus, you're experimenting, you're not driving, you're not endangering anybody, you're being safe. But it just so happens that you were in possession. Personal use amount, but nonetheless still illegal. Well, now you've got a permanent scar on your record, which could become a problem for future employment as well as careers, any type of things that look at your background in that sense. Is that necessary? I don't think so. We all conduct ourselves differently, but if you're being responsible, and everyone's going to try stuff, everyone's going to experiment, everyone's going to do something, but should it scar you for life? I don't think so. I think the situations need to be looked at individually and addressed accordingly. But then on the flip side, when you look at possession, possession, obviously, you would have a much larger amount on you. You're intending to distribute to who we don't know. It could be people who should not be getting any of this stuff. You could be endangering lives. That's a completely different area. And that, of course, should be upheld at a different standard. Should it be one and the same? No, it should not. You really should look at the circumstance and just decide, okay, does this warrant the criminal offense that it's getting? Another situation we can consider is the situation with 3M and the C8 chemicals that were deposited into the waters and the air. You look at that situation and wonder, okay, that's criminal activity. If it had been an individual who was on their own and decided to start illegally dumping chemicals in there, that person would be held accountable. So what makes the corporation different? Why are they upheld at a different standard? Why does an individual who's practicing that type of nonviolent deviant behavior get penalized because they would, versus a whole entire corporation of people who are aware of what's happening and should be doing the ethical thing and are overlooking it, endangering the lives of many? They're able to walk away from that without any criminal issues or offenses or anything. It's just not right. That should be criminalized as well. But again, when you look at the scenarios that I've given and the examples, you can't define good from bad, right from wrong. You've got to look at each case individually and assess it. There's always that gray area in between that makes it really, really difficult to distinguish between right and wrong. Nonetheless, it's still behavior that's being exhibited in one party or another. Thank you for your time today. I hope I addressed all the points. We'll see you next time.